Listen, I'm going to tell you something that happened yesterday at a coffee shop. And when you understand what I saw, you'll realize why you've been invisible to women your entire life. There was this guy, maybe 25, good-looking, well-dressed, trying to impress this girl. And for 47 minutes I counted. He did everything perfectly wrong. But here's the thing. He thought he was doing everything right. That's you. That's 98% of men. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why your brain is programmed to fail with women and how to reprogram it. But most of you won't have the courage to actually do what I'm about to tell you. You know what's funny? Every man thinks he's different. Every man thinks his situation is unique. But I'm a nice guy. But I have a good job. But I dress well. But I'm funny. Listen, none of that matters if you're operating from the wrong mental program. It's like trying to run Windows software on a Mac. It doesn't matter how good the software is, it's not going to work. And that's exactly what you're doing with women. Let me ask you something. How many times have you had a great conversation with a woman, thought everything was going perfectly, and then she ghosted you? How many times have you been the perfect gentleman, done everything right, and watched her choose some guy who treats her like she doesn't matter? You see, this pattern keeps repeating, and you keep thinking it's bad luck. It's not luck, my friend. It's mathematics. It's psychology. It's a game you're playing with the wrong rules. I remember when I was 20, I had this realization that changed everything. I was at this party watching my friend, let's call him Alex. Alex was not handsome. Alex had no money. Alex dressed like he robbed a homeless person. But Alex had 3 women competing for his attention while I stood in the corner with my nice shirt and perfect manners, invisible like a ghost. And I thought, what the hell is happening here? That night, I understood something that took me years to fully process. Here's the brutal truth. Women are not attracted to your resume. They're not attracted to your good intentions. They're not attracted to how much you want them to like you. In fact, the more you want them to like you, the less they will. It's inverse mathematics. The harder you try, the faster you fail. And I know what you're thinking, but that doesn't make sense. Exactly. That's why 98% of men fail, because they're trying to make logical sense of an emotional game. You see, there's this program running in your head. I call it the good boy protocol. It was installed when you were maybe 5 years old. Your mother said, be nice to girls. Your teacher said, respect women. Society said, happy wife, happy life. And all of this is fine, except it has nothing to do with attraction. You've been trained to be a golden retriever when women are looking for a wolf. Not a rabid wolf, not an aggressive wolf, but a wolf nonetheless, independent, unpredictable, self-sufficient. Let me tell you about this concept I discovered through pure observation. Every interaction with a woman has what I call polarity points. These are moments where you either increase or decrease tension. Most men are so afraid of tension that they immediately try to release it. Woman seems uncomfortable, make a joke. Woman challenges you, agree with her. Woman tests you, fail immediately by trying to please her. You're so busy trying to make her comfortable that you become comfortable. And comfortable is the enemy of attraction. Think about this. When was the last time you were excited about something predictable? When was the last time a movie with no conflict kept you engaged? Never. Because humans, especially women, are wired for emotional stimulation. They need the push and pull, the uncertainty, the challenge. But you show up like an instruction manual. Page 1, I like you. Page 2, I'll do anything for you. Page 3, please pick me. The end, boring. Now, I'm not saying become an asshole. That's what stupid men think. Oh, women like bad boys, so I'll be mean. No, no, no. Women don't like bad boys. Women like men who have their own reality, their own frame, their own life that doesn't reorganize itself the moment a pretty face appears. The bad boy just happens to have these qualities by default because he doesn't care. But you can have these qualities and still be a good man. In fact, that's the ultimate combination. Here's a practical example. You match with a woman online. She's beautiful. Your instinct is to write something clever, something that shows you're different, something that will impress her. Already you've lost. Why? Because your entire strategy is based on her reaction. You're not expressing yourself. You're performing. You're not communicating. You're auditioning. And she can smell it through the screen like a shark smells blood in the water. What should you do instead? Write what amuses you. Write what you would write if she were average-looking. Write like you have 10 other matches, and this is just another conversation. Because that energy, that non-neediness, that self-amusement, that's what cuts through the noise. That's what makes her stop and think, this one's different. But here's where 98% of men mess up, even if they understand this concept. They try to fake it. They try to pretend they don't care while caring desperately. They try to act alpha while feeling beta. Listen, women have been reading male behavior since they were teenagers. They've seen every trick, every line, every strategy. They have a built-in authenticity detector that's more accurate than a polygraph. You can't fake it. You have to become it. I'll tell you a story about this girl I met maybe 3 years ago. Beautiful girl, the kind that makes you reorganize your whole day just to maybe run into her again. We're talking, everything's flowing, and then she says something I don't agree with. Now, the old me would have nodded, agreed, kept the peace. But instead, I said, that's the dumbest thing I've heard today. And I talked to my neighbor this morning who thinks birds are government spies. She looked at me, shocked. Then she laughed. Then she was interested. Why? Because every other man had agreed with whatever came out of her mouth. I was the first one in probably months who treated her like a regular person instead of a goddess on a pedestal. You see, when you put a woman on a pedestal, you force her to look down on you. It's physics. It's geometry. She cannot respect someone who worships her because worship implies inequality. And women cannot feel attraction without respect. It's biologically impossible. The same way you cannot feel attracted to someone you have zero physical interest in. It's not a choice. It's wiring. Now let's talk about the biggest mistake men make. They think attraction is about addition. Add more compliments. Add more dates. Add more attention. Add more availability. No. Attraction is about subtraction. Subtract your availability. Subtract your predictability. Subtract your neediness. Subtract your immediate responses. The empty space you create is where attraction grows. It's like a vacuum that pulls her in. Think about your phone right now. If someone texts you and you know they'll always respond immediately, always be available, always say yes, how much do you value their attention? 0. Because what's always available has no value. It's economics, supply and demand. You've made your supply infinite while demanding nothing. You've made yourself worthless in the attraction marketplace, but when someone texts you sporadically, when they're sometimes available and sometimes not, when their interest seems to fluctuate, now you're checking your phone. Now you're wondering what they're doing. Now they have real estate in your mind. That's the position you need to be in, not the other way around. Here's what's going to happen to most of you watching this. You're going to understand everything I'm saying logically. It makes sense. You might even take notes. But tomorrow, when you see that pretty girl, your programming will kick in. Your good boy protocol will activate, and you'll do exactly what you've always done. Because changing this requires more than understanding. It requires practice, failure, and emotional reconditioning. I went through this. When I first started approaching women with this new mindset, I failed spectacularly. I overcorrected. I went from too nice to indifferent. I went from too available to ghost. I went from too agreeable to argumentative. It took probably 100 interactions to find the balance. But here's what I learned. Even my failures were more successful than my old successes. Even when I was calibrating and messing up, women were more interested than when I was doing everything right. You want to know the moment everything clicked for me? I was on a date with this woman. Very attractive, the kind where other men turned to look. And halfway through the date, I realized I was bored. She was beautiful but boring. And instead of pretending to be interested, instead of pushing through because she was hot, I said, "Listen, you're very pretty, but this conversation is putting me to sleep. I'm going to go home and watch Netflix. It'll be more stimulating." And I left. You know what happened? She called me that night. Then the next day. Then for a week, the woman who had men chasing her for years was suddenly chasing someone who walked away. Not because I used some technique, not because I was playing games, but because I genuinely valued my time and interest more than her beauty. That's real power. That's real frame. But here's the thing most men don't understand. This isn't about being mean or dismissive. It's about having standards beyond physical appearance. It's about being genuinely willing to walk away if your standards aren't met. Most men's only standard is she attractive? That's it. That's like only caring if a car looks good while ignoring if it actually runs. You're setting yourself up for disaster. Let me break down what actually happens in a woman's mind when she meets a typical man versus a man who understands these dynamics. Typical man. He's nice. He compliments her. He's available. He agrees with her. He tries to impress her. Her subconscious conclusion, he's beneath me. He needs me more than I need him. He has no other options. He's safe. He's boring. He's forgettable, man who gets it. He's friendly but not eager. He teases her. He's sometimes available. He disagrees when he disagrees. He's more interested in amusing himself than impressing her. Her subconscious conclusion, he's at or above my level. He has options. He's unpredictable. He's interesting. He's memorable. See the difference? It's not about being a jerk. It's about being a man who has his own life, his own opinions, his own standards, and his own sense of self that doesn't crumble the moment a pretty woman shows up. Now, I want to talk about something controversial, the friend zone. Every man fears it, but most men don't understand why it exists. The friend zone is where women put men they don't respect romantically, and you earn your spot there by acting like a friend when you want to be a lover. You earn it by being agreeable, available, and asexual. You earn it by pretending you don't have sexual interest when you do. You're basically lying from day one, and then you're surprised when she doesn't see you romantically. Listen, if you're interested in a woman romantically, she should know it from your behavior, your energy, your flirting, not from some dramatic confession 3 months later, not from some sudden shift from friend to lover. From day one, your intentions should be clear through your actions, not hidden behind friendship. I knew this guy. Let's call him Mike. Mike would become friends with every woman he liked. He'd be their emotional support, their helper, their always available buddy. Then after months, he'd confess his feelings and get rejected every time. And he'd be devastated. But I was so nice to her. Yeah, that's the problem. You were nice. You weren't attractive. You weren't sexual. You weren't romantic. You were nice, like her girlfriend, like her brother, like her pet. The solution isn't to be not nice. The solution is to be attractive first, nice second. Lead with your masculine energy. Add kindness as seasoning, not as the main dish. Be sexual but not creepy. Be confident but not arrogant. Be challenging but not impossible. It's a balance, but it's a learnable balance. You want a practical exercise? Here it is. Next time you're texting with a woman, before you send each message, ask yourself, am I sending this to get a specific reaction from her? Or am I sending this because it amuses me? If it's the first, delete it. If it's the second, send it. This simple filter will change your entire communication dynamic. Another exercise, practice disagreeing. Not about everything, not to be difficult, but when you genuinely disagree, voice it. I don't see it that way. That's interesting, but I think differently. Nah, that movie was terrible. Whatever it is, start expressing your actual opinions instead of the opinions you think she wants to hear. Here's what's going to shock you. The more you disagree respectfully, the more interested she becomes. Why? Because it shows you have a spine. It shows you're not desperate for her approval. It shows you see her as an equal human being whose opinions can be wrong, not a goddess whose every word is gospel. I remember this interaction from maybe a year ago. A girl said she loves astrology. Old me would have said, oh, that's interesting. Tell me more. New me said, astrology is just racism for birthdays. She gasped, then laughed, then spent the next hour trying to convince me otherwise. We had an actual conversation with actual energy instead of me just nodding along while she talked. That's the difference. But here's the real secret, the thing that changes everything. You have to actually become a man who doesn't need female validation. Not pretend to be him, become him. How? By building a life that's actually interesting. By having hobbies that fulfill you. By having goals that excite you. By having friends who challenge you. By having standards that matter to you. When your life is full, when you're genuinely busy with things you care about, when you have actual options, that's when all of this becomes natural. You're not playing hard to get. You are hard to get. You're not pretending to have standards. You have standards. You're not faking confidence. You're confident because your life has given you reasons to be. Most men are trying to get women to fill a void in their life. Women can sense this void like animals sense earthquakes. They know you're trying to use them as emotional band-aids, as validation machines, as proof that you're worthwhile. That's too much pressure. That's too much responsibility. That's why they run. Instead, your life should be so full that a woman is an addition, not a necessity. She's the cherry on top, not the whole sundae. She complements your life. She doesn't complete it. Because if she completes it, what happens when she leaves? You're incomplete again. You're broken again. You're desperate again. Think about the men who are naturally good with women. They're not necessarily the best looking or the richest, but they're almost always men who would be fine without women. They have their work, their passions, their friends, their goals. Women are just one part of their life, not the center of it. That's magnetic. That's attractive. That's what you need to become. Now let's talk about the moment of truth, the approach. Whether it's online or in person, most men approach with the energy of a job interview. Please pick me. Here are my qualifications. I hope I'm good enough. Wrong, wrong, wrong. You should approach with the energy of someone who's offering an opportunity. I'm interesting. I'm fun. I might let you into my life if you're cool enough. See the shift? It's not arrogance. It's not narcissism. It's knowing your worth and genuinely believing that your time and attention are valuable, because if you don't believe it, why should she? Here's a mindset shift that changed everything for me. Stop thinking about getting women. Start thinking about selecting women. You're not trying to convince every woman to like you. You're trying to find the women who meet your standards. This shift changes everything. Your energy, your approach, your entire dynamic. When you're selecting, rejection doesn't hurt. It's just information. She's not interested. Cool. She selected herself out. She saved you time. On to the next. When you're trying to get, every rejection feels like a failure. When you're selecting, rejection is just part of the sorting process. I learned this lesson the hard way. I spent years trying to convince women to like me. Performing, impressing, convincing, exhausting. Then I switched to selecting. Is she interesting? Is she kind? Is she compatible with my lifestyle? Does she add value beyond her looks? Suddenly I was the one with standards. Suddenly I was the prize. Suddenly everything changed. But here's what nobody tells you. This journey is lonely at first. When you stop seeking validation, when you stop people-pleasing, when you stop being agreeable just to be liked, you'll lose people. Women who enjoyed your attention without reciprocating will disappear. Friends who liked you being the nice guy will be confused. Family might say you've changed, become selfish. Good, let them go. Let them be confused. Let them say whatever. Because on the other side of this temporary loneliness is authentic connection, real attraction, genuine relationships, women who choose you for who you are, not for what you do for them. You know what's the saddest thing I see? Men in their 40s and 50s still running the same program they learned at 15. Still trying to nice their way into attraction. Still confused why it doesn't work. Don't be that guy. Change now. It's uncomfortable. It's difficult. It's scary. But staying the same is scarier. Dying with regret is scarier. Never experiencing real attraction is scarier. The truth is, everything I'm telling you is simple but not easy. Simple because the concepts are straightforward. Not easy because it requires rewiring decades of programming. Not easy because it requires facing rejection. Not easy because it requires becoming someone new while everyone wants you to stay the same. But here's my promise to you. If you actually do this work, If you actually change your mindset, if you actually practice what I'm teaching, your entire reality will shift, not just with women, but with life. Because the confidence that comes from not needing validation, the power that comes from having standards, and the freedom that comes from being authentic, these things transform every area of your existence. So here's your homework. And 98% of you won't do it, which is why 98% will stay where they are. For the next 30 days, practice one thing: caring less about outcomes. Approach women with zero attachment to results. Text with zero neediness. Date with zero desperation. Just practice being present, being authentic, being self-amused. That's it. That's the secret. That's the thing that separates the 2% from everyone else. Not tricks, not lines, not techniques, just the genuine ability to be yourself. By yourself, for yourself, and letting women choose to join your reality, instead of you desperately trying to enter theirs. Listen, I know this video challenged everything you've been taught. Good. It should, because everything you've been taught got you where you are now. And if you're watching this, where you are now isn't where you want to be. So the question is simple. Are you going to keep doing what doesn't work? Or are you going to finally try something different? The choice is yours. The red button or the blue button, the same results or new possibilities. Comfort or growth. You already know what you're going to choose. You knew before you even finished this video. The only question is, when are you going to stop lying to yourself about it and actually take action? That's all I have for you today. Take it or leave it. Use it or ignore it. But don't say nobody ever told you the truth, because I just did. The rest is up to you.